Just north of downtown Flint, Michigan, a two-story red brick building known as Factory 1 sits as just one reminder of the rich history here of the American automobile industry. The factory, the Burr. Growing recession risks to Canada from the US-led trade war will push the Bank of Canada to cut interest rates at least twice more this year, some economists predict, although a majority of economy. If the Liberals are going to turn their current lead in the polls into a majority government, ridings like Calgary Confederation are where some experts will be watching closely. While Alberta Typica. The members of Ontario's legislature are set to make history on Monday by selecting the province's first female speaker, but just who will take up the mantle remains to be seen. Two members of Proven. Among the issues that led to patient deaths, according to critical incident reports from the first 9 months of 2024, were bed rail entrapment, delays in receiving medical diagnosis and treatment. Cassidy Vaughn wants to have a second child, but says the prospect of doing so without $10 a day childcare is scary. Childcare can drown you, she said. That's like a mortgage payment, or yo. Demand for the services of local food banks has never been higher, and Carolyn McLeod McCarthy of the Guelph Food Bank says she's worried about the impact U.S. tariffs will have on the local economy. Warning: this story contains details of violence against Indigenous women. Experts say there doesn't seem to have been anything explicitly preventing Winnipeg police from re-interviewing a serial killer. It's hard to get any further from Australia than downtown Toronto, so for a dual citizen like Leighton Walters, the quickest way to be transported home is to take a bite of Vegemite on toast. The Peruvian writer Mario Vargas Llosa, who enchanted readers with his intellectual rigor and lyrical prose for 5 decades and nearly became president of his country, died on Sunday. He was 89. And alleged predator's close encounters with police 18 years ago are now at the center of a pair of lawsuits filed against the Newfoundland and Labrador government. 2 men allege they were sexually. A Toronto theatre is running an adaptation of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's whimsical tale The Little Prince with a script written especially for the deaf community, and performed entirely by a deaf cast. Every so often, Eric Robichaud dreams about being trapped in a small, grey room cut off from other people, with nothing to do but stare at the ceiling. When he wakes up, Robichaud is horrified to our. Indigenous legal advocates in northwestern Ontario are sounding the alarm over the Ontario government's cancellation of its contract with Starlink, citing concerns with people's access to legal care. The rollout of the Holt government's primary care plan last week raised an important question: what exactly counts as a new collaborative care clinic? Premier Susan Holt announced what she called. Midway through the election campaign, at a local candidates' debate in Truro, the Conservative incumbent in Cumberland Colchester and a first-time Liberal candidate went toe-to-toe. Liberal Alana here. A Saskatchewan resident was inadvertently added to a group chat that included government MLAs as they planned out questions for a legislative session last week. The government confirmed the guide. In a remote corner of the Annapolis Valley, Ken and Kathy Burka and their daughter, Mallory, are keeping a century-old family tradition alive. They operate Revival Seeds. They save and sell heritage. Physicist Hao Yu-chi and his wife moved from New Brunswick to Toronto over the winter for work, but before he could retrieve a $2,000 security deposit he had paid on his Moncton apartment, he was told. A Brampton-based business says the chaotic nature of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policies ended up costing them nearly $35,000. Taurus Krakow Machinery is an independent machinery dealer.